1 month after my daughter's wedding, the photographer called me and whispered, "Ma'am, I noticed something terrible in the photos. Come alone tomorrow morning. Don't say anything to your daughter. If this story hits home, subscribe. More real stories every week." The phone rang just as I sat down my coffee. Tuesday morning, quiet house, financial reports spread across my desk. The kind of peaceful moment I'd earned after 40 years building Reynolds Hardware, 3 stores across Phoenix. I almost didn't answer the unknown number. "Miss Reynolds," the woman's voice trembled. "This is Carolyn Thornton. I photographed Jacqueline's wedding last month. I need to see you immediately, alone. Please don't tell your daughter." My hand tightened on the phone. "What's wrong?" "I can't explain over the phone. I found something in the photographs. Something very serious. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., my studio downtown. Please, come alone." Before I could process it, Wendy's voice exploded from the kitchen. My youngest, demanding money for a new car. Benjamin, her boyfriend of 4 years, laughed at the TV in my living room. I'm Vivian Reynolds, 71, and at that moment, I had no idea a single photograph was about to unravel everything I thought I knew about my family. I have 2 daughters. Jacqueline, my eldest, marketing executive, married a month ago to Samuel Fisher, investment banker. Successful, polished, everything I'd wanted for her. And Wendy, 31, who moved into my house 4 years ago after her divorce. "Temporarily," she'd said. Benjamin followed 6 months later. No rent, no lease, no end date. That evening, Jacqueline stopped by uninvited, settled onto my couch, and told me she and Samuel had found the perfect house in Scottsdale. They needed $40,000 for the down payment. Said like she was asking to borrow a truck. You understand, right? After everything you spent on the wedding, this is just completing the picture. I told her I needed to think about it. She left, cooler than when she'd arrived. "Love you, Daddy. Call me soon." I drove downtown the next morning, Carolyn's trembling voice looping in my head. Her studio smelled like coffee and printer ink. She sat me at her monitor and pulled up photos from 2 hours before the ceremony, taken by accident through a studio window while she tested her equipment. Samuel, tuxedo half-buttoned, pressed against a red-haired woman. Not a goodbye hug. Intimate. Possessive. In one shot, the woman's hand rested on his chest, a wedding ring on her finger. "The metadata is here," Carolyn said. Timestamps, GPS, down to the second. This would hold up anywhere. She handed me a flash drive. "I don't know what you'll do with this, but you should have it." I drove home in a fog. Why marry Jacqueline at all if this was happening 2 hours before the vows? That night, sleepless, I pulled up the wedding budget. $65,000 spent, and Jacqueline had insisted on cash gifts only, no registry. "We need flexibility, Dad." She'd collected $45,000 in cash and checks. My business partner had personally handed Samuel a $15,000 check at the reception. $60,000 for a couple supposedly starting fresh. Why go through with it at all? Unless the vows never mattered. Unless only the money did. The next morning, I visited my bank to check a wedding gift check I'd written. The manager pulled up the account. A joint account Samuel and Jacqueline had opened 2 months before the wedding. Not when they got engaged. 2 months. Timed exactly to receive gift money. This wasn't romance. This was logistics. I came home and, walking past the stairs, heard Wendy on speakerphone with Jacqueline, laughing. 2 more months and I file for divorce. Half the gifts are legally mine. Samuel already agreed to a 60-40 split. Easiest $45,000 I ever made. Jacqueline's voice, calm and strategic. Keep him distracted, Wendy. Make him think you need something big. That way, when I ask for the house money, it won't seem excessive. Already on it. Asked him for a car yesterday. He'll come around. He always does. I stood frozen against the wall. 2 daughters, both lying, both running a con on their own mother. I'd almost written that $40,000 check. I called a property lawyer, Robert Mackenzie, first thing the next morning. I laid out everything. The affair evidence, the overheard call, 4 years of Wendy and Benjamin paying nothing. In Arizona, he said, your house is your property. No lease means no protection for them. 30 days notice, then eviction. We also discussed an irrevocable trust. House, business, savings, moved into professional management, nearly impossible to challenge, unlike a will. This will likely end your relationship with your daughters permanently, he warned. I know, I said. They ended it themselves. I'm just acknowledging reality. I signed everything. I served Wendy and Benjamin their eviction notice on the coffee table between them that Friday evening, right as Benjamin was pitching me on a brewery investment. Benjamin exploded. You can't kick us out. We're family, Wendy cried on schedule. I told them plainly, 4 years, no rent, no respect. 30 days. What followed was 2 weeks of quiet warfare. My coffee maker slipped out of Benjamin's hands. Wendy performed distress for the neighbors over the back fence. Jacqueline showed up with a psychologist, suggesting I was having sudden behavioral changes. I threw them both out within minutes. Someone went through my desk and found the trust paperwork. At day 15, I hosted a family dinner. Good china, 5-place settings, and a manila folder face down by my plate. Over roasted chicken, Jacqueline suggested I sell the house, simplify, split the proceeds among everyone. I opened the folder. 8 photographs. Samuel's face went white. I quoted Jacqueline's own words back to her, verbatim, from the phone call I'd overheard. The table went silent. I told them the trust was already filed. Irrevocable, untouchable, and after my death, they'd receive only the legal minimum. You're destroying this family, Jacqueline said. I'm not destroying anything, I told her. I'm protecting what I built from people who saw me as a resource instead of a mother. On day 30, a deputy sheriff arrived with me to enforce the eviction. Wendy and Benjamin hadn't packed a single box. 2 hours, court-ordered, no negotiation. Benjamin muttered about ingratitude the entire time. Wendy tried one last plea at the car door. You'll regret this. I met her eyes, calm. I won't. They drove away. Jacqueline called that night, furious, accusing me of destroying the family. I didn't destroy the family, I told her. I stopped letting it destroy me. Days later, Samuel texted from an unknown number, offering me $10,000 to stay quiet about the affair while their fraudulent divorce played out. Jacqueline had known about the girlfriend the entire time. The whole marriage had been a joint scheme from both sides. I blocked the number without replying. 3 weeks later, I sat on my terrace with morning coffee, watching the sun rise over Paradise Valley. Wendy and Benjamin had found a cheap apartment and were, apparently, figuring life out without my money. Jacqueline had asked for $20,000 after her divorce finalized. I said one word, no, and hung up. No guilt. Just a boundary. The court split what remained of the wedding gifts between her and Samuel, most of it eaten by lawyers. Ironic justice. My trust was fully filed. My business protected. My house, for the first time in 4 years, entirely mine. I'd taken up guitar lessons. I volunteered at the senior center on Fridays. And Carolyn, the photographer who'd handed me the truth when everyone else fed me lies, called to check in, and I found myself saying yes to coffee. My daughters thought I'd chosen loneliness over love. I hadn't. I'd chosen myself over a version of love that looked suspiciously like theft. Justice isn't revenge. It's boundaries. It's saying no when no is the only sane answer. If this story hit home, drop your city or state in the comments. I read every one.